Good morning. So nice to have you join us today. Kevin Fuerst with Fuerst Financial and I are sitting here having a lovely chat. Good to see you this morning.
See you, Julie.
I think a lot of us kind of come into the new year. I think I'd count me in this category. I'm really kind of energized somehow for 2025. I've rested.
Yeah.
I feel ready for what the new year's going to bring, and I want to embrace it with victory.
Yeah,
you want to see the same thing for your clients, but you, although you talk about the financial side, you're a big believer that the financial success doesn't really come if you're not tending to everything else in your life too.
I do.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I think everything counts. I think it's, it's spiritual, it's physical, it's financial, it's social, it's mental. I mean, all those things have to work together. I mean, we all know people or someone that if one of those things are off, it will naturally take the focus, and then sometimes the other things that we're supposed to do fail.
Mm-hmm.
And so, new year, we have a new opportunity. I think it's a great time to reflect too. I think gratefulness is something we miss, and we should be really grateful for the year we just went through. A lot of stuff happened last year.
Right.
And so I'm grateful we're through it, and we have a new year going forward. But I don't want to not be grateful for what's happened to me. You
know, when Kevin's here, he and I just talk, and somewhere in the midst of the conversation, a little bit of financial advice might come out, but a lot of it is just life.
It is.
In my own personal life, I've had a lot of talks in my kitchen amongst my family saying, oh, I can't stand the month of January. I seem to be the lone wolf saying, really, I kind of like January because it forces you to turn inward. I'll be ready for it by the end of the month to move ahead, but I kind of like the forced isolation in a way. I think it's good to reflect.
No, I think it is. I think there's a lot of things. I have things that I do in January that are just kind of my thing that I do. Some of it's health related because I'm always watching my health. You know the old, if you watch a thing, you'll change a thing. If you're not watching, you're not going to change. But from a financial standpoint, there's things that we have to look at too, and that's really what we do with our clients. It's not everything. We really cover all the areas when we're dealing with finance because, like you said, it all connects. But people that don't have their finances in order, take a step this year, start getting them in order. And it doesn't have to be huge amounts of money. Most people that have their wealth that they have, it grew over time. Whether it was a business, whether it was their own, setting aside their own money, start at $25, then move it to $100, then $1,000. Next thing you know, you've amassed $500,000, and you didn't even really think about it. It kind of just happened.
Your website that we'll show people later is Grow, Keep, Leave. And I often will kind of skip over the keep part, but that's a really important aspect because it's really easy to earn money. It's something else to keep it.
That's right. And so that's the saving, that's the putting back the money. Work with someone, or there's a lot of even self, do-it-yourself things that you can go to on the website and say, okay, if I want to retire at whatever age, people still think 65 or 70. How much money do I need to save to have X amount of dollars that will take over when I work? Because there's only two things that make money. Assets make money and people make money. And so when the people retire, then the assets have to take over and pay for your lifestyle at that time.
Okay, but let's say that you do that because some people can get overwhelmed pretty easily. So if you're in your 30s and you're watching and you do that website that you're talking about, that calculator, and you might think, gosh, that is unattainable. I've got 2 kids I'm raising or 3 kids I'm raising. I can't possibly ever earn that much money. But that comes back to your point of save what you can.
That's right.
And enjoy as you can.
Right.
And eventually things will kind of catch up.
They will, and the part of what we walk our clients through is we walk them through those scenarios of here's your probability of success, and here's the things that you need to change to get where you want to be. Obviously, you want your probability of success to be 85% or better. If you're less than 85%, then that means you only have a 65% chance, 70% chance of making it in retirement, knowing that you're going to quit at some point and that the money has to take over and start paying for your lifestyle.
How about the incidentals of life that kick us all? Like nobody was quite prepared probably for the inflation we saw in 2024. Who could have foreseen that we would be paying a lot more for groceries and that type of thing? Or that your air conditioning is going to go out or whatever it is. Do we not prepare enough, do you think, for those incidentals?
It's tough because there's all kinds of different social economic issues that we're talking about there. So
Yeah.
to try to figure out each person's issues or challenges that they had, you just have to really talk to that person and see where they're at.
Right.
Maybe this year is a new year for a different job that's going to give you more opportunities to make more money. It could be you crossing over to a whole different career, or it's within the career that you've been your whole lifetime. And so
There was a guest I talked to recently, and he was talking about New Year's changes, and he did not like the word resolutions. He likes the word intentions.
Oh, okay.
It's a more positive
Yeah.
action.
Yeah, I like
so is
it.
that a good idea in the financial world to think about what your intentions are for your
Yeah,
money?
I think so. I think it's hard to tell what he was talking about, but his intention, if you have good intentions, sometimes good intentions don't, it's the follow through. It's the actual doing of the good intentions that need to be done. There are principles that we all live by in every one of those areas we talked about, whether it's finances, whether it's health. I mean, it's the starting. And that's the intention. You plan or you intend to do it, but if you don't do it, then you have to rearrange your lifestyle to do that. So for instance, part of what I did physically for my physical health, I go to bed earlier so that I can get up earlier to do my exercise before I leave the house. Now, it doesn't happen every day, but those are my intentions, and I have a plan to do that.
So, with a minute left, if you were advising kind of the populace out there of one thing they could do, even if they're already doing it, okay, but one thing they could do in the new year to begin a starting point, what would it be? Establish a budget?
It's a good question, because everything matters. I think sit down with yourself, your spouse, find a financial advisor. Let them help you understand where you're at, what it is you're wanting to do. Get some advice from them. If you work with a fiduciary like we are, we're going to. So, not everybody becomes a client, but everybody can learn something along the way. And so, part of what we do when we sort of interview people and we talk to people about what they can do, what's important to them. They don't always become clients, and it's okay, but I always want them to walk away with something. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Because there's so many things that they can do, but starting is the key, and finding somebody that you can trust to work with, or you have to trust yourself to do it.
Well, maybe he's going to be your starting point. So here's his phone number and his website. There it is, growkeepleave.com, as I mentioned. 899-8555 is the phone number. Great to see you.
Thanks, Julie.
My name is Vicki, and I called Jay and Print after my car wreck. They were very friendly, walked us through the whole process with ease. I was very satisfied with them representing me. I would recommend them very highly.
It's just that easy.
To those stepping into the workforce, facing setbacks, transitioning their skills, or simply trying to balance bills with bedtime. At Tennessee's American Jobs